Hello everyone, Train Studios here, and today I'll be answering the questions which were left on my Q&A announcement video. So, I just want to first thank everyone who commented. It was just great to see you all commenting, and yeah, I can't wait to answer your questions. So, yeah, let's get straight into it. So, the first question comes from Just Dougie. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And they ask, how much Douglas merch do you have? Not that much, to be honest. All I have is a take-along Douglas, as well as a take-along Donald, and a take-along Diego Stini. I really want to get a Tommy version, but these days they're so expensive to find on eBay that it really goes out of the budget of £1 for me. Next up is Paxton. I like Paxton quite a lot. You know, he was my profile picture on YouTube for a while, but yeah, I'd say I like Paxton quite a bit. And their final question is, what's your favorite food? My favorite food is probably pepperoni pizza or burger and chips. And as well as that, my Britishness is coming to say, like, well, say fish and chips, mate. Pop down for a cheeky fish and chips. Oh yeah, lovely jubbly. Next set of questions comes from my good friend Train from the Train Club, and he first asked, what got you into Thomas? From a young age, I know that, from what my mum tells me, I used to sort of wave, she used to wave, and then I'd join in waving at, like, trains as they left the station, and so, and it kind of just happened, and then my mum's friend bought me a piece of Thomas merch for my second birthday probably, and it just kind of sparked from there. I started to watch the show more, and it's just really never stopped since. His second question is, favorite episode you've made? My favorite episode, probably the best, like, objectively, I think, is probably maybe It's a Wonderful Toad. I think I'm pretty proud of how that one turned out, but my favorite episode, ones which were fun to make, since it's kind of hard to pick a favorite for me, but ones I enjoyed making were probably Karate Engines. I had fun with that one. I enjoyed making Little House of Horrors. I enjoyed making that one quite a lot, and also it's hard to think really. I remember whilst I don't really like the episode that much now, I do remember enjoying making, like, Urban Engines, Thomas World, and even the first ever episode I made, An Unforeseen Christmas. I remember enjoying making those ones. I remember I was up at midnight on Christmas Eve, Boxing Day, filming the last few scenes of An Unforeseen Christmas. It was just really fun. I have great memories to making those, so yeah, definitely some of the early episodes, as they get more technical in how you make them, it's definitely getting a little more tedious, and as well as my phone getting older each day, it's just, they get a bit more less fun to make, just because if I get a new phone, which I hopefully will at some point in the summer, then I think they'll probably get more fun to make again. But yeah, those were probably some of my favorites to make. And his final question is, first video I remember watching in the fandom. I'd probably say it would either have to be Diesel D199, maybe one of his earlier shorts like Deja Vu, or even some of his like animated ones, or Thomas Wanted with 2 Henry Free video. But 2 videos I remember watching a lot as a kid were, one, it was, I can't seem to find it anymore on YouTube, but it was sort of like filmed on a model railway, like outside. I think there were like sort of white sort of walls, and it was basically a 40-minute video, I think. I can't really remember. It was like an orange diesel going around terrorizing Thomas, Percy, and James. I can't seem to find that anymore. Another one I remember watching was like, I'm pretty sure it should still be up on YouTube somewhere, but it's sort of like a Lego Thomas going around carrying jam and peanut butter. I remember that. Like, I remember watching that video a lot, just because I thought it was really cool having a train going around the house delivering what to put on toast. And as well as that, I also remember when I go to my grandma, she'd search up Thomas and Friends on her iPad, so then when I woke up in the morning, I could watch Thomas and Friends. And one of the videos I remember watching a lot was a Thomas and the Magic Railroad remake, a Tomy remake, which should probably pop up on the screen now. I remember watching that a lot because I was always way too scared to watch Thomas and the Magic Railroad as a kid because of Diesel 10, so I always used to watch that whilst playing with my toy trains pretending I was playing along with the film. But yeah, those are some of the videos I remember watching the most when I was younger. Next comes from Zebedee, and they ask, what was your first piece of Thomas merchandise? The first piece of Thomas merchandise I had, I think it was the one which my mum's friend got me for my second birthday. It was a sort of Thomas, it was sort of like a take-along station and mail service. I'll pop it up on the screen. I'm pretty sure it came with a take-along Percy. I think I may have lost the take-along Percy, but I think I still have the truck. Their second question is, was there a time where everything was hard and Thomas was the only thing that would help you? I've never really had anything be that hard for me, but I feel like if I were to have something where everything was down and I wouldn't know what to do, Thomas would definitely be something which would help me. It's definitely helped me in the past with little things, but there's nothing ever been so very significant where Thomas helped me through it. And their final question is, favourite project the fandom has made? That probably, if it was all together, I think definitely, I really love the Magic Railroad parody as well as Tobias and the Arcane Merchant. I think that film was excellent. I remember watching it on Christmas Eve night at 2 a.m. and getting scarred and amazed at so many scenes. It was just phenomenal. So I feel like that might have to become a yearly tradition. But yeah, Thomas, the Magic Railroad parody, Tobias and the Arcane Merchant, and I really want to finish watching Bad Influence. I started watching it, but I never finished it for some reason. But I've heard it's really good, and I really want to finish it. Then the next question comes from Fishy Boy, and Fish Boy, sorry about that, and they ask, what's your opinion on Tugs? To be real with you, I've not watched that much of Tugs. I've watched probably 10 out of the 13 episodes, and I think it's a really good show. I think just the work done with David Mitten, all the models are amazing, and my favourite episode is undoubtedly Munitions. I mean, people think they've seen explosions in a Michael Bay movie, but they've not watched Munitions yet, although Michael Bay, a lot of people would say, is master of the experience. And if you haven't checked out before, check out The Rock, directed by Michael Bay. It's a very good film. I would recommend it. But yeah, I do really like Tugs. And shout out to Little West 09 with his film, the Tugs movie, which I think is a great movie. Actually, yeah, pop that into the question beforehand. What was my favourite project the fandom has made? That's definitely up there, as well as a lot of other films from the toy timeline. That will also be linked in the description, as well as the Tugs movie. Next up, a friend of mine, Your Average Edits, he asks, favourite character from TTE? I feel like for a lot of people in the fandom, it's really hard to choose a favourite character. I remember Christopher Audrey put it best, or Wilbur Audrey. I'm very sorry if I've mixed. I'm really sorry if I've forgotten which one says it. But, they're like our children. Okay, that sounds a bit weird out of context, but you know what I mean. It's just really hard to choose them. But the ones which spring to mind immediately are probably maybe Toby, Thomas, Percy, James. So characters like those. Diesel 10 as well, especially. And probably Mr. Conductor, just because of Alec Baldwin's mad performance. I also really like a lot of the narrow gauge ones, like Duncan, Peter Sam, Scarlowy, those guys as well. He also asks, best Star Wars movie. I think objectively as a film, the best one is easily Empire Strikes Back. I think just the soundtrack, everything is great about that. But my favourite, it's got to be either A New Hope or Empire Strikes Back. I change every day on which one I prefer over those two. And finally he asks, shout out to Mr. G. I mean, of course he gets shout out Mr. G. Spam Mr. G in the comments below. Spam Mr. G everywhere, because he is a G. Next comes from my friend Little West 09, and he asks, thoughts on my balls? You know, this question is it's genuinely mind-boggling, like how people everywhere have been trying to figure out what is truly the correct response to this question, but I think they are amazing. I'm just stunned in amazement every time. They're so beautiful. They're perfect. The basketballs are my favourite out of your ball collection. The next question comes from my friend Steelworks Ryan, and he asks, "Where's James when you don't make videos?" That's actually a good question. I've been meaning to address it for a while, but a lot of times when we're not filming, I'll see that my credit card gets maxed out. I'm like, how did that happen? And I see that apparently James has stolen my credit card and gone to the Bahamas, so that's definitely a little weird experience when I have to then send Thomas out to go and get him. But yeah, that's usually where James is. He's somewhere. Actually, let me find him now. Yeah, he is not here, so he's probably in the Bahamas again. He also... the second question is, if you could fill one of your trains with helium to make them stop talking, who would you get the treatment? That's a bit of a hard one, but let me quickly see here, because there's no engine I outright dislike it, to be honest, but probably maybe I don't know really. Let's see here. You know what? Let's go with... Oh, shoot. Yeah, I'm not really fully sure. But, let's go with... let's go with Glenn right now. Because probably tomorrow he'll be making a plan to stop everyone from calling him the worst Trackmaster model. Not me, though. Glenn, peak, best model ever. But, yeah. And then his final question is, what's a jar ring? Now, there are a lot of ways we can look at this question. A jar ring. I've never heard of a jar ring. Two different words combined. Jar ring, a jam of jar, a jar, and a ring. Those are two different objects. But if we're looking at a jar ring, sometimes the definition, British slang, when something is very cringe, as the kids would say, like, that is jarring. But if that answers your questions, if you like jar rings, you do you, but if you mean the word jarring, yeah. Finally, we have questions from Shunt Studios, and he asks, favorite Thomas movie? That would probably have to be, for me, Sodal's Legend of the Lost Treasure. It's probably a really normal take, but yeah. But recently, I have been just thinking about Thomas and the Magic Road the whole time. I could quote so much of that movie. Thomas and the Magic Road is so bad, but it's so good. It's just an anomaly of a film for me. I don't think I can even rate it properly out of 10, objectively. He then asks, favorite episode I've made. Going back to that, probably either one of my early episodes when they weren't when they weren't have to be edited that much. I am a big actually, now that I think about it, I am a big fan of the Train Rules, the one where all the guns get taken away, as well as Steam Team 2.0. I really like those episodes, how they turned out. And the final question from him, as well as the final question of the whole Q&A, is, do you have any other interests besides Thomas the Tank Engine? One of my biggest interests is definitely filmmaking. I just love filmmaking. I love films in general, and to be a director is definitely my dream job in the future. I just love all things film, making films, just writing films, everything. I also like shows, like, I'm a big fan of Gravity Falls, Amphibia, Owl House. I recently started getting into Cobra Kai. I really enjoy that series. I would recommend it. And one of my other favourite shows is easily Doctor Who, as one of my favourite episodes, Time Travelling Great Westerners, one of my favourite episodes I've made, was inspired solely off one episode of Doctor Who. But yeah, those are some of the interests I have. Well, anyway, I think that is the end of the questions. I can't thank you all enough for everyone who commented questions, and yeah, this is Train Shoes, so yeah, just thank you everyone for asking questions, and happy 5-year anniversary. So, with that done, this is Train Studios signing off. Have a great day, guys.